Okay, I am going to question 2 because question 2A is on factorization. The factorization that you will be doing in Set 2 will be a lot more difficult. So I'm just going to use question 2 to do a quick recap. Later on, when you do the rest of this part as homework, you will find the same idea repeating. Okay, so for the first factorization, okay, I would like you to be able to see that the bracket is the common factor. So actually in Set 1, right, you learn a lot about taking out common factor. Okay, so in this case, in part 1, right, I hope you can see that the bracket is the common factor. Okay, so the bracket is a common factor. So that means, right, it is something that I can divide out. So if the bracket is the common factor, it is something that I can divide out. So you imagine you took this out from this bubble. So you imagine you take it out from this bubble, you'll be left with a 2p. So for the second bubble, if you imagine you take this out from the second bubble, you will get a -7. So this is the factorized answer. Okay, in Set 1, you learn a lot about taking out common factor, but your common factor is usually numbers. It's usually like X, Y, Z algebra. But then, right, here, the common factor is a full bracket. And you will see it happening a lot in Set 2. So that's why I want to emphasize a little bit more here. Okay, maybe you don't see so much of such common factor in Set 1. Okay, but you will see a lot. Okay, the next one that I'm going to go through, right, is also something where the common factor is a bracket. But there is a trick on this bracket. So I want you all to open your eyes to look at these two brackets. Can you see that, right? These two brackets are not the same. They are different. So first of all, you must realize that they are different first. Okay? So they are different first, but they look almost the same. Do you realize? Do you realize that like they swap the position? Because of the swap in position, the two brackets are the same, are different. Okay, so because they swap, so they are different. Okay, so it's different like something like 2 minus 3 is different from 3 minus 2. All right, so you must be able to realize that they are different first. Some students never realize that they are different. Okay, so here I am going to talk about this part. I'm going to talk about this. I am going to factorize out a -1. I am going to factorize out a -1. Then I will get a -2u. Then I will get a plus v. So I am going to factorize out a -1. Okay, so think about this. How do I get this? 2u divided by -1. Minus v divided by -1. So you make sure you learn about factorizing out a -1. Okay, why do I want to factorize out a -1, right? Eventually, this part will become okay, let me write properly. It will become a v minus 2u. It will become a v minus 2u. Okay, so the first thing is please recognize that the bracket are not the same. Recognize that the bracket are not the same. And I am going to factorize out a negative. So I'm going to factorize out a negative. Negative 1 v minus 2u. So I am factorizing out a negative 1. So I'm hoping you can see that because of doing that, I got the same bracket. Negative and negative becomes a plus. Negative and negative become a plus. So initially the two brackets are not the same, but after you factorize out the negative 1, you got same bracket. Do you realize after you factorize out the negative 1, now you got the same bracket. Now you got the same bracket, which is the common factor. Now you got the same bracket and you can take it out. You are left with m. You take it out, you are left with 3n. Okay, so the key idea on this question on 2a is you will see common factor as a bracket. And you will see almost identical bracket. Okay, on the second part here, right, the bracket are not the same, but they almost look like the same. And in fact, you can make the bracket same after you factorize out a negative 1. Okay, so that is the key thing that I want to explain on question 2a. Okay, so that is the focus for question 2a. Okay. Later on, if you still encounter there are some similar questions that are like that throughout this worksheet. So hopefully you can identify. So if later on, if you still need me to explain, you let me know. Okay, I want to say something about 2b. For 2b, right? Okay, in case you forgot to put bracket, please make sure you put a bracket. Okay, so I want to say something about part B because a lot of students will forget to put bracket. So I want to remind about the bracket. And I think all of you will know that you need to get same denominator. Okay, so go ahead, get the same denominator, but remember the bracket. What I want to remind is the huge fraction. When you got the same denominator, make sure you got the big fraction. Some of you tend to make sign error. After the big fraction, then you multiply in. Okay, so I hope you can remember this. So after the big fraction, then you open up the bracket. Otherwise, you will end up making careless mistake. So what I want to remind is the big fraction. So after the big fraction, then you do out the bracket. We want it to prevent sign error. Okay, so what I want to remind is the bracket and the big fraction. Okay, so this one is the idea of take out common factor. and the common factor is a bracket, and the idea of factorizing out a negative 1. We will see it again in the Sec 2 algebra worksheet. So I'm just using this to go through first. Okay. And then for question 3, right, what I want to go through is not part A. I'm quite sure part A, all of you can factorize. I'm quite sure you can see that T is the common factor. Okay, I'm quite sure you can do that. So when you took out T, you are left with M plus N. So that is just the answer. That's all. Okay, the one that I want to emphasize is on the second part. The idea of hence. In Sec 2, you're going to see a lot of hence. So when you see the word hence, it means use the previous answer. You are going to see a lot of hence in Sec 2, Sec 3, Sec 4. So every time hence comes out, right, you must link to the first part. If you do not link, your answer will not get any marks. Okay, so part B. How am I going to link this to the previous answer? So you ask yourself, your previous answer got a common factor. So in this part, you should also see that 985 is the common factor. So you must take out the 985 and you get a 64 plus 36. You must take out the 985 and you are left with 64 and a 36. From there, then you can see that that is a 100 and you get a 98500. So if your first answer show take out common factor, your hence must also show the take out common factor. So this is a must show working. You must show this. Otherwise, your answer will have no marks. If you don't show that bracket working, right, you got the same answer, you are still being penalized. So I need you to understand the meaning of hence. If your answer show take out common factor, your second part must also show the same idea. Okay, if you do not show, you get the same answer, right? In exam, you got 0. It will be the same until Sec 4. Okay, so this is the idea on question 2 and question 3.